Well, we have Josh Browder in the studio. He's a CEO. We'll ask him, does he deadlift? We got to know because he's going in the portfolio. Welcome to the stream, Josh. Good to see you.
It's great to have you on.
Too long. How you
Thanks
doing?
for
Having me. Love the show, and I love Wanda as well. I see that Wanda.
Oh yes, you're one of the first investors, right?
We did an audit. I'm proud to be the first investor.
The first investor.
You found your happy place. The first spot on the cap table.
That's fantastic. So yeah, give us a little bit of an introduction. And do you call yourself a CEO or a venture capitalist at this point? You're on Fund 4, so moving more into the VC world. What's the story?
So definitely a founder at heart. I'm the founder of Do Not Pay, which helps consumers fight companies and governments. The very first use case was parking tickets. But today I'm announcing my fund that I do on the side called Browder Capital Fund 4. I'm very lucky. We've raised $30 million from a lot of the best investors. And I specialize in backing undiscovered, uncredentialed founders. So we're living in a world now where there's like these crazy seed valuations are like 50. Everyone going to like one company gravitating towards like chasing hype. I'm the exact opposite. I back more Teal Fellows than any other investor or fund, and I really try and create my own hype and almost incubate them. Obviously, it's up to the entrepreneur to build their business, but I put them on the right circuit. And the very first company I did this with was I was the angel investor in a company called Owner.com in the pre-seed, and it's now yesterday they announced their $1 billion valuation.
Congratulations. How are you thinking about this? How are you thinking about the fund sizing? I feel like most funds, when they get to Fund 4, they're thinking $3 billion, but you've kind of kept it small. What are the advantages of that?
So I was lucky. So it took about 3 weeks to raise, and I've done some raises in my career, and this was a very smooth process. And I deliberately kept it small and disciplined. I was lucky I had a lot more demand. I want to do a good job for people. I want to do a good job for the founders I back and my LPs, and I think smaller fund sizes far outperform larger ones. In terms of what I'm backing now, I actually have a founder like living with me that I don't know too well. I invited him into my home. Another founder, I put his visa on my credit card personally. Third founder, I co-signed for the apartment lease. So it's really just about putting people on the right track and being their first believer.
That's
awesome. Amazing.
What overall trends are you excited about or staying away from? What's your take on defense tech, the application layer in AI? You've kind of built the perfect company to benefit from foundation models. Didn't have to train anything, but I'm sure Do Not Pay is benefiting from AI and agents and reasoning models. But what are the trends that you're most excited about right now?
So I'm founder first. So wherever the top founders are going, I go. For example, a recent company that I was the first believer in with Corey is called Pilgrim. I think he was on your show a few weeks ago. They raised an amazing round, I think, from Cantos and others, which is a top defense investor. Also excited about AI. I'm an investor in a company called Assured, which helps insurance companies process their claims, and they've received huge traction in the market. I think every company will be an AI company though. So I try and stay away from like founders who are like too smooth with their pitching. AI first. I think about this with Do Not Pay. We've added AI to our business, and really every company should do that. So kind of these AI first pitches where the founders are saying all this jargon, like we're building LLM operability dev tools. What does that even mean? So I'd like to focus on like real problems and real solutions.
Yeah, I think we actually met Jake Adler of Pilgrim together when we were camping a year or two ago. I don't know if that's the first time you met him, but that was the first time I met, I think, both of you in person.
There's the first time I met him in person, but this is more in the COVID era, so I was like doing my program over Zoom. But I really enjoyed playing Mafia with you guys. I think you can
tell if
someone's a good founder or investor by how good they are at Mafia.
Yeah, a lot of bluffing. It's fun. I mean, on the topic of like, I mean, I love Jake. I love Pilgrim. I don't feel comfortable due diligencing a company like that because it's so out of my wheelhouse in the biotech space. Is that one of the benefits of being early stage and founder led? Is that you can kind of just bet on the founder and you're not, you don't need to do all the technical due diligence, or do you like to dig in on that stuff and just get up to speed?
I don't want to get into trouble by revealing any like specific numbers, but
Sure.
of my biggest kind of wins, they've been sub five or even around two average. And
Mm.
so that kind of risk is baked into the valuation entry price.
Sure, sure.
And I've been operator for 10 years now. I've seen things come and go. And if you have a founder who truly it's their life's work and they're technical, they have some sort of good success.
Hmm.
And so they just have to keep at it and stay in the game and not run out of money, and then they become really big.
How long do founders stay under the radar today, right? And if you can invest in a founder at 5 posts, right? They're typically you're either friends with them, you can add a tremendous amount of value, or they're flying under the radar in some form of another. And then at a certain point, they become kind of discovered broadly, and they start getting, these rounds start getting bid up. It feels like with the internet today, even X, a kid can drop out of college and immediately get, 3 term sheets in a week.
Especially if they can go viral, which is like a common thing that we're seeing now with X, is that some founder does some sort of stunt, gets a ton of attention, and then there's a question about whether they can build a product, but it certainly drives venture capital interest. But yeah, I'm interested to hear your take on that.
So I think we're seeing a rise of like super credentialism. Now top VC firms are even tracking math competitions in high school. And you have
Wow.
these founders, they tell the perfect story. They're like, I won Intel, I won math, I went to MIT, I dropped out of MIT, I worked at OpenAI, and now I'm starting a company. Those ones super chase, everyone's chasing them. There's lots of competition. But for me, I really think it's about creating one's own winners. And so the best entrepreneurs I've backed, they didn't have those credentials coming in, and maybe they needed to be put more on the right track in terms of what they are working on. And sometimes investors even passed on them. And so I'm not saying the math competition winners make bad founders. Obviously, there's some huge wins with that. But just because someone's good at math doesn't mean that they make a good founder. And there's like more innate qualities that other people aren't signaling on.
How do you think about kind of the geopolitics of entrepreneurship right now? We're in kind of this odd realignment towards America. There's some VC funds that are pushing really hard to invest in Europe. There's other folks that are great at. I mean, you said you paid for someone's visa. Clearly, that sounds like you're bringing a founder from somewhere else to America. What does the trade imbalance look like in the founder ecosystem? Is America still bringing enough talented entrepreneurs here? Is it still fertile ground for the global entrepreneurship community to come to America or Silicon Valley and build generational companies?
So I'm originally from England, as you guys can probably tell from my accent, and I think that America is by far the best place to build a company. People are more ambitious here. The capital availability is like 100x. I think a concrete example is like the most valuable private company in the UK is like Revolut, which is like a bank clone. The most valuable private company in the US is like OpenAI or SpaceX. There's like order of magnitude bigger. So I encourage any founder I back to move to the US and also to move to the San Francisco Bay Area. Unfortunately, still being in the Bay Area really matters a lot. The companies don't have to start in the Bay Area. They could start in Arizona or wherever they drop out from, but they should really move here. Pilgrim is a great example. Jake started in Canada and then moved to the Bay Area. I also think there's a huge arbitrage on the O1 visa. It's known as the genius visa, but it has like over a 95% approval rating, depending on the year. And so you get someone the O1 visa and they're a true genius. They move to Silicon Valley and then they hit the ground running.
What about advice for young people? Do you think learning to code or being able to code is still a positive signal, or in the age of Cursor and Windsurf and Devin and AI tools, it's becoming less relevant?
I think the biggest thing is like distribution and being an online first and having these skills of like distributing your product. Coding and being technical is important, but it's just one skill. Like I backed the WOP founders, WHOP as an early check, and they were like really deep in like sneaker bot communities and things like that, because everyone is starting a company now and you need to break out. I feel like a lot of Stanford students are just starting companies just for the resume. There's so much noise and you have to kind of wade through that.
Yeah, the WAP founders are definitely doing it for the love of the game. I mean, they're killers. It's amazing. What a great company.
Can you give us, I know it's not why you're on the show today, but can you give us an update on Do Not Pay? It seems like in so many ways, the company was incredibly well positioned to benefit from improvements at the model layer. Give us the update there.
Yeah, so Do Not Pay is an incredibly efficient business. It's a very small team. It's only 14 people, and 7 of those are like expensive employees and 7 contractors. And when I started Do Not Pay, it was really about templates to get people out of parking tickets. And admittedly, now ChatGPT can write you a template letter, but AI has improved our product by 5 to 10x. So instead of helping people with parking tickets now, we have AI agents. They log into someone's Comcast account and start negotiating with Comcast to get people's bills down. And the big companies have AI and we have AI, and it's like an AI versus AI warfare. But we're more motivated than the Comcasts of the world. And so we're winning like thousands of these negotiations a week. And I think it's a good lesson that I tell all the people I back is like, you can't rest on your laurels. You constantly have to be innovating, change the product, and adapt with the times.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate you, and good luck with the new fund.
I feel like my only concern for Fund 4 is that some of these bigger multi-stage funds are going to sort of pay a private investigator to follow you around and just sort of like see who you're meeting with, ahead of time and be like, oh, Josh is trying to do another, he's trying to do another, 500K on 5 mil. Why don't we offer them 5 on 25?
Has that actually been a problem for you at all? Have you, are the bigger funds, the crazier dynamics, is that a trend that early stage VCs should actually be worried about?
No, I think Josh's playbook is he meets them,
way before.
Buys 10% before anybody knows about it, and then says, hey, you guys, take them on a road show.
They're not ready for the big funds. They need about a month to kind of get polished and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's not strictly like they wouldn't be sniped even if they could be found, because they're just not in a place to do those types of rounds. That's interesting. Makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you so much for joining.
Love it.
This is fantastic.
Great to hear the update, Josh. And congratulations on the new fund.
Thank you. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.
We'll talk to you soon.